I delve into this more detail in the program, but there are three, I've determined, primary external causes of disorder. Generally, there's not enough space, the items are not kept in the right place, or they are not being used, or a combination. But I'm asking you to choose just the number one case for you. So you don't have enough space for, somebody said, for paintings. They're not in the right place. You have kitchen things that are in the bedroom, or they're not being used. You have more books or clothes than you're actually using. Let's. Okay, this is interesting. Not being used. Okay, well, that's the easiest one, actually, when you take a look at it. I mean, they're actually all pretty easy to deal with. And it's interesting because it's easy and it's also not easy. Simultaneously, both are true. It's not that you are physiologically incapable of moving things or of releasing things. Of course you can, but there's more to it than just the stuff. And this is, again, what my program focuses on, because all of that disorder in the outside world is a result of something that's not being addressed internally. It's about the relationship with the possessions. So if you have things in your outer world that are not being used, really at issue is, what is it inside me that's not being used? What qualities, what talents, what aspects of myself are not being used? Ooh, you can hear the mic drop there. If there's not enough space, where in my life do I feel I don't have enough space to do X, Y, Z? And not in the right place? Where in my life do I feel that I'm not in the right place? And this is why I teach live, because I actually don't think I've ever expressed it in quite that way before. Every time I teach, there's something new. So this is my reluctance to record, but eventually this program will be recorded. So there we go. So that's the number one thing. What in me is not being used? Actually, that's what we look at in my program, because we start taking a look at, if it's clothes, what does that reflect? If it's books, what does that mean? Right? If it's papers, what does that mean? And we start decoding, right, with our feng shui decoder ring to figure out what the story is. And that's why it's called, again, Story of Your Stuff. By the way, it came up with the name because one of my brilliant students, who was, I think she was at the very least in her late 70s, if not early 80s, in Japan, was widowed, flew from the other side of Japan to train with me when I was in Japan. And she gave this presentation that, you know, she gave a little talk at one of my larger presentations for like 100 people. And she had almost the whole room in tears when she was talking about how this brought her a new sense of appreciation for her life and what she has. And she said, when you look at the word story in Japanese, monogatari, the word for story is things talk. And we said, oh, isn't that interesting? She said, you know, everything that you possess is talking to you. And are you listening?